So Sam, do you know what a buster call is?
What? No.
You never heard So basically, there's a show called One Piece, and there's a thing called a buster call where the government comes in, like, full artillery, whole military, and they just blow the shit out of an island. Now, imagine, like, if you throw your D&D players into a situation where there's cannons going off everywhere, the whole place is under attack, as the government's just like, boom, get rid of it. Can't have this town. They know too much.
Basically, what you're telling me is you want to send the SWAT team at a guild in D&D. You want to get them raided? Is this what you're telling me?
I mean, getting swatted in D&D, that should probably be a norm.
Swatted?
I mean,
you're not wrong. Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, that's a vibe check for the murder hobos. If the world government's like, hey, no, you gone too far.
Swatted. There's been a string of murders lately.
But I would say that's just it'd be kind of a fun concept, I mean, slip that into a player's backstory. But hey, I think that's let's start the show. Welcome to Dungeons and Talkshows, the talk show that brings you dungeons, news, and homebrews. I am your host, Orion.
And I am your host, Sam, here to bring you the monster, usually, once I get remembered. You had me last time.
One day, Sam. Parental responsibilities. I have a crotch goblin asleep on my chest for this episode, so that's just how it is sometimes.
Yeah, you are full Kangas Khan right now.
Kangas Khan?
yeah, from the Pokemon, Kangas Khan.
You know what? It's been a while. I let my kids watch the Pokemon. They got like a 1,000,001 Pokemon now, but
they do.
Yeah. However, we do have a special guest with us today. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello. Hi, I'm Jen, or Jenisonline.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
It's been a while. Like, we had your co-host, Nick, on not too long ago, and that was a fun show.
That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah, he was a fun guest.
He is a fun guy. I don't know if I'm funner. I'm definitely louder.
Well, you always got to have that co-host balance. You got the high energy, and then you
gotta have the dynamic. You guys fit together.
Which one are you? Which one are you guys?
I do all the work, and Orion gets all the credit because he's outgoing.
So that's like the one in school that does all the work on the group project.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
What about if you're the outgoing one and you do all the work, and then there's Nick who gets to smile and wave.
Yeah.
Well, he does really good at it. I mean, you've seen that face.
Yeah, he's good at it. Pulling it off well.
I kind of tricked Sam in this one. So.
I am the overprepared one in the overprepared DM, and he is the one that tells me to stop. So,
I don't know.
See, brilliant dynamic right there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if we're gonna go like who's more like technically, D&D, it'd probably be Orion.
Okay.
But I've always been like
I've just been in it longer.
Yeah. I'm always like, oh man, I want to know about this, and I want to look up this and talk about these creatures. Like, they're all so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, I don't know a lot of things, so I just make shit up.
Like, I have an approximate knowledge of
I have an approximate knowledge of many things, and I get out skirting every time. It works.
Exactly.
It's gone from a catchphrase to a mantra at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've had so many rules lawyers in my campaigns that it's almost like intentional not learning, because I want a homebrew and a better experience because of my negative rules lawyer experiences.
Right.
Understandable. I've dealt with my fair share of them in the past, where I had to be a player in a game where the DM was the resident rule lawyer. And this was back in like 3.5, and he thought it was a great idea for, goblins to attack one of the party members, which is, perfectly fine. But rules as written meant that even though we were literally 30 feet away from this person, because my wife's character decided that she wants to be the yandere stalker type, follow the party a little bit before she joins up with them. So we camped on two separate sides of the river, and one thing leads to another, and for whatever reason, you wake up in the morning and no one can notice the person being shanked to death by a bunch of goblins on a street length away. Like, you couldn't walk to the other side and be like, hey, is there trouble here?
That's tragic. That's outright tragic.
Yeah. Rules as written, you can't see or hear or possibly perceive someone screaming for help on the other side of what would be like the equivalent of crossing a street.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Needless to say that although me being a little biased because it was my wife's character, everybody else in the group was just not having it. It's like, the fuck you mean we can't notice that shit?
Right, like, why not? I don't know. You're just blind and deaf. Got Helen Keller in your D&D game.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry.
Damn, Helen Keller.
Well, it was nice meeting you guys.
That's been your show, guys.
It's been a great 5 minutes. Okay.
Thanks for listening to Dungeons and Talkshows, brought to you by the Nerd Militia. But as always, we're nerds, so what do we know? Damn, I still think that she had a lot of communist opinions for a person that's never seen $1.
Oh my.
All right, that's a good one. 10 out of 10.
It's a joke, people. It's okay. You think if I over-explain it, it'll work better?
No.
No.
Sometimes you just gotta let a joke go and realize that you made a mistake.
Oh, man.
Don't worry. My whole life is mistakes.
Oh my goodness.
But
I stub my toe
Jen is
every
here.
Ouch.
So do you really? Oh,
every
no.
morning I break my legs, and every night I break my arms.
My skin is made of paper
I
mache.
have paper skin and glass bones.
What's the first 10 minutes of our episode just us giggling about right now?
I mean, you guys made a Helen Keller joke. I'll hit you up with the SpongeBob. I don't know what you want from me.
That's great.
That is the tit for tat we needed.
Oh, man. Welcome to today's episode, guys. Hope you had a good 4th of July.
Well,
I did a whole lot
plenty
of
of
nothing.
explosions.
I did hear a lot of fireworks. My dogs lost their minds. You know, the usual.
That's fair. I'd say that's like the only perk of not having a dog, because obviously your life is horrible and you're sad and alone. But the only perk of not having a dog is that you don't have to deal with, dogs freaking out on 4th of July and fireworks holidays, and when it's storming, they're not freaking out because they don't have anything.
I find that relatable just for the sheer fact that although I have a dog, I really resent dogs. I just don't like them in general.
Isn't it like your kid's dog? Or your wife's dog or something?
Yeah, like, he's a good boy, but I just don't like dogs.
That's fine.
That's fair. I think cats are definitely more floppy.
I'll take a blanket full of cats any day of the week.
What?
I was like, that could go so many directions.
Why do you have a blanket full of cats?
Well, you see, my wife has a problem where she just doesn't know to just say no to cute kitten eyes, and then one thing leads to another, and you just have a house full of cats.
Come home and you're like, what happened here?
I didn't ask for all these kittens, and now that there's kittens in my face, they're just so snuggly, I can't say no. You're gonna say no to a cat? Nah, it's too late.
It's against the law. Cats are on your lap. That's it.
Yeah,
You're
you can never
stuck
get
forever.
up again.
It's true. I've seen the written scriptures.
Yeah, it's written. It's been foretold in prophecy.
It has been.
The sacred texts.
So, Jen, we've heard from Nick about how your show goes, but like, you're the other half. Like,
I can almost
tell us about
guarantee
your
that
show.
I know how our show goes from Nick. I feel like he said, well, Jen gets all the guests, and Jen forgets what she's saying at least once every single episode. And he said that I'm more chaotic than him. How spot on was that? Probably not at all, but...
all I've got from that is, like, Jen is basically Orion.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, yeah. You sound a lot like Orion here. Ryan does most of our bits and all of our soundboard stuff.
Well, all of our podcasts are 100% improv. The only things that are consistent throughout is that we have the same beginning question for every DM, and we have the same ending question, and it's sort of just like to begin and to wrap up, but it's a conversation style podcast where we just kind of shoot the shit with people, and the conversations go many different directions. Sometimes they go in very similar directions than what we have with other guests, and we try to like think of something else to talk about if we both get that little eyebrow raise of like, we just talked about this with someone else. But yeah, we start off the podcast, we just ask people like, what did they used to do in preparation that they don't do anymore? And that like leads off like a big spiral of conversation, and we talk about all sorts of things. I'm taking notes and making sure that we're like staying on topic, and staying on a relative topic and not talking about one thing for too long. And then we end the podcast by asking our guest, like, what is one piece of advice you would give to someone who has never DM'd before but wants to try? And then it's fun. They're about 30 to an hour and a half long. I would say our shortest episode's about 43 minutes and our longest one's an hour and 20. But yeah, we used to upload every other Sunday, but then life happens and it's taken us a year to put out one season 3. But yeah, we're working on it. It's really fun. I would say that Nick is definitely a fantastic partner to bounce off of, especially when, naturally there's conversation lulls. It's nice to just be able to say, hey, what do you think? And then I can sit back. And then he can say, hey, what do you think? And then he can sit back. It's really nice.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's really nice having that, that conversational dynamic where you really don't have to think about it too much. It really just flows.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen with everybody. There's some people that I'll talk to that for some reason I just can't get words out, or I'm fucking awkward, or like I'm normally charming, but for some reason I can't be normal, and I'm just making weird faces and making weird noises, and they're like, "You're so weird." I'm like, well, what can I say?
That is what we represent here. Like, embrace the weird, let it flow through you.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I am a self-proclaimed eccentric, but I found that the issue with being eccentric is if you don't have money, you're just crazy. So
that's valid.
Just that crazy guy with all those ideas.
I'm trying to get the money so that I can be eccentric, because like
for sure.
Orion the eccentric, insert something here. Like it's gotta sounds like something, you know.
Yeah, and you can be a collector if you have money, and you're a hoarder if you don't. So.
No one likes all my garbages in my garbage collection.
Yeah, what the heck? Spend all this time collecting all this garbage.
Well, speaking of collections, Sam, what do we got for the monster of the week?
What does that have to do with collections?
You gotta catch
Hey,
them all,
listen,
Sam.
it's a classic segue. Just let it happen. Roll with
I'm
it.
sorry, I just had to.
Plan. Like, oh, and speaking of collections, let's talk about this collection of monsters that I have ready for you today.
It's only one monster. All right.
Okay, a collection of one single. Okay, I have a collection of monsters, but I'm gonna pluck one single one
All right,
out
you
to
got
talk
me.
about. I got you.
There's quite the collection, you know, in the D&D scene. So I guess you're right there. So today I'm going to talk about something that I never really knew about. Our AI technician in our Discord kind of recommended this one to me, and it is the Meenlock.
Ooh.
Yeah, so Ryan, you know about this one a little bit, don't you?
Yes, I do, because my brother's first time DMing, I handed him one of my books. I was like, here, pick an adventure, run with it. And he decided to go with the one that was filled with Meenlocks.
Nice.
So it's like, okay, all his D&D prep had to do with Meenlocks and then creating these Three Stooges NPCs that he just kind of ran down our throats at every turn.
Jesus.
So
Right,
just imagine, like, you're going on your merry way, then all of a sudden the DM's like, oh, by the way, Larry, Moe, and Curly are up your ass.
That's pretty
Not
great.
Larry Moe.
Oh no. So
He does a damn good Curly impression.
oh, does he really? We have to hear it someday.
Absolutely.
Just cut to like a
Just cut it.
impression
I
and
wish we
then
had
cut
it.
it back out. Yeah, easy.
If only.
Just pretend that happened.
Yeah.
Wow,
Oh
that
man,
was so good.
guys,
Yeah.
I can't believe I never heard something like that before.
That was so impressive.
Fan just put in like
I was
something,
telling you.
So Meenlocks, they were apparently deformed fae that originated from intense fear. They had no purpose other than to destroy good and beauty, and resorted to telepathic torture in order to terrify and corrupt other creatures. Anyone who succumbed to this torture would then be magically transformed into a Meenlock as well. So
One of us. One of us.
So, like,
Basically.
what kind of torture? Like, you know, is it like the Lord of the Rings orcs being, like, you know, born from all the abuse and shit that they were, like, overcoming, or is it something different?
I wonder. I'm not quite sure yet.
It's a whole lot of
I do get
gaslighting.
into that here. Yeah, it's just a whole lot of gaslighting. You know,
In that case,
I would
I'm a
imagine they
Meenlock.
just kind of inflict pain
Sad.
on you. You know, maybe make you
Yeah,
feel
Have
but
you
bad.
what they like
experienced
to
pain?
do-
You might
Yeah.
be a Meenlock.
Yeah, I mean, if they
1-800-555-MEAN.
if they seek to corrupt you, I'd imagine that they kind of intensify your negative emotions. Maybe,
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
interesting.
maybe kind of.
They create illusions and like to
Right.
manipulate people. Like when my brother was running it, he's like, "Oh yeah, this old lady that resembles your mother comes up to you and she's offering you cookies and like everything is just dilapidated all around." And I'm just like, "Well then,
Yeah.
this
I-
is suspicious. I'm going to attack it."
I just looked up what a Meenlock looks like.
Yeah,
and I
I'm
was
about to get
not
into the description
anticipating.
here.
I was
They're
not
ugly.
anticipating this. They're
Yeah.
gross.
So
I am a
I haven't
Meenlock.
looked it up yet. A Meenlock is basically what happens when lobsters drink the Grimace birthday shake. Meenlocks were
Oh,
apparently
boy.
the origin of the ugly barnacle, according to SpongeBob. These boys are clawed and hairy. They're approximately 2 feet, 0.6 meters tall. And although their deformed bodies force them to kind of hunch over and stoop, their long claws dragged across the ground. They move slower than most.
They're a bunch of claw
creatures.
draggers.
Yeah, they're fucking weird. They have like lobster claws. Like, why? What's up with that?
Okay, so think Think Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
With lobster claw arms, but not like it's like really thin arms with like lobster claw fingies.
Yeah.
Velociraptor feet with like tiny no leg day legs.
Yeah.
And in like a disgusting bug face.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gross.
Yeah. You know,
Big,
the exact
mighty
description I would give
claws.
at my table.
Yeah. They also had cysts and sores covered their grotesque hides. Underneath the shaggy hair-like spines that coated their body. The yellow pupilless insectoid eyes easily pierced the darkness, but they struggled to see during the day. Unlike the rest of their bodies, their heads were white and hairless, with flat noses and small toothy mouths. Ugh.
Gross.
So,
I don't know. I like the Quasimodo Velociraptor lobster bug that I expressed.
They're kind of cool, but
it sounds a lot better than lobster midgets.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So getting into the lore in the Forgotten Realms here, Meenlocks were both devious and cunning, using indirect methods to achieve the corruption of all things pure. Living in small broods, Meenlocks worked with each other to spoil the beauty of the world, and used teamwork to accomplish their mission. They could communicate telepathically, although if being observed, they might feign a small, vocal method of communication through a series of clicks and grunts, so as to secretly conspire against their enemies. Meenlocks preferred to travel unseen, underground, and disguise their entry points to the surface with large rocks. If their If their lair was discovered, they would work tirelessly to silence their leak and keep their existence hidden.
Same.
Yeah, me too.
I am a Meenlock.
Yeah.
I'm a
This is how we find out we're all
hunchback
just
lobster
Meenlock.
velociraptor bug.
Yep.
Got
When you get really itchy and your bones want to hatch, this is what you turn into.
Man.
I would imagine that's part
Like
of the
when you're
mental
laying
torture
in
of becoming
bed.
one.
And your body just doesn't want to go to sleep yet, and so parts of your face start itching because you really want to go to sleep, but you're like, God damn it, now I gotta fucking itch my nose, and then that's all you're thinking about while you're laying in bed. That's the beginning. You might be a Meenlock. Call us at 1-800. Get you started on your treatment now.
I go alongside your night terrors. You might be a Meenlock.
Let us know.
So Meenlocks were created when extreme terror was experienced by a creature in an area strongly influenced by the Feywild. If more than one Meenlock appeared in a single instance, a lair would form, a series of winding labyrinthian tunnels with a single hole leading out. Meenlocks did not possess a conventional method of reproduction. Instead, to create more Meenlocks, existing ones must conduct a metamorphosis on an existing humanoid. By telepathically torturing an unconscious victim through disturbing visuals and horrible noises over a series of hours, Meenlocks could create fully grown Meenlocks who continue the cycle of torment. Yeah. And apparently it takes place as sort of like a curse.
They're really weak, though.
Yeah, they seem pretty weak. That's why they're so manipulative and they don't choose to just fight you.
That's true. You're socially evil, but if we get in a fight, you're going down real fast.
Yeah. So they're like, you know, they get caught. That's why they try so hard to stay hidden. They know they'll get clapped.
That's true.
And they do travel in packs, so it's just like it's like a cult.
I don't care that we're in the Meenlock shop. I said I cast Fireball.
What do you mean this town is full of Meenlocks?
They're so nice. Interesting. That's super cool.
You look over, they're just like
scene
screaming in someone's face.
Is this an adaptation from a different edition?
There is a 4th and a 3 edition, but they're all kind of the same.
They seem to be relatively similar throughout. I mean, I know there's a 5th edition used for them because I was in the Candlekeep Mysteries book.
Yeah.
I, for the most part, talk about the 5th edition ones, unless they don't appear in 5th edition.
Yeah.
I try to stick to those.
That's cool. That's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. And what's really cool about it is the way to lift a Meenlock's curse was to kill the Meenlock that created it, before using magic to raise the victim from the dead and remove the affliction. That's fucked up. Failing this, only a miracle or wish spell can free a victim from the transformation. So basically, if you got cursed by this, you both have to kill the Meenlock that cursed you and die and then get resurrected to remove
Damn.
it. That's fucked up.
Basically a vampire.
Yeah. They gotta like
Essentially.
you gotta turn it off, turn it back on.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, because I've only seen those kind of rules applied to some movies with vampires and some with werewolves, where it's just like,
Yeah.
the one that turned them, you got to get that one first. Then you can
kill the one who
reverse it.
gets you.
How would you guys put a Meenlock into your games?
That's a good question.
Mm.
See, so I'm currently running the Grim Hollows inventory now.
Oh, that's a good one.
Probably could fit Meenlocks in pretty reasonably.
Do one, just one.
Could
That's a
probably-
practice.
Yeah, I could probably. Let's see. Right now, I don't want to give too much away for people who watch our series, but they are currently heading to hunt down a Blood Witch, who is kind of starting the next steps to like what could be an apocalyptic situation, you know.
I bet a Meenlock would be a good
I could see like
monster.
they kind of like to interrupt their kind of way to them. I could see it.
That'd be kind of fun.
Just kind of distract you a little bit, because they are already kind of being sent things toward them. You know, portals are opening up in front of them. But,
Yeah,
like, this would be a different.
I can
kind
see
of threat.
Meenlocks taking over an entire town.
Yeah, for sure. Because you definitely, if you can't like recognize what's going on fast enough, a few people getting caught, just regular people, could be done.
That's how zombie apocalypse starts.
Yeah. And they're telepathic, so it could be from a distance too.
Dang.
Yeah, they just be sneaking around in the shadows, the middle of the night, giving people nightmares until they freak out, jump up, turn into a Meenlock, and then they just start giving other people night
Like,
terrors.
oh man, I've been having horrible migraines lately, you know, and my nightmares have been awful. You know, and I've been, you know, seeing things during the day. You know? And they just can't take it anymore. Boom, Meenlock.
Same.
Imagine if they worked with a changeling, and the changeling's like the town therapist.
Oh, changeling turns into a Meenlock? Meenlock changeling? That'd be awful.
Man.
Do you think it would retain the transformation power?
If it did, that'd be
Meenlock?
even more terrifying.
Yeah.
Because
Or
you'd have this.
I feel like it could also just get stuck in whatever form it was in when it changed. So, like, let's say they were like impersonating a guard. Now they're just a guard, Meenlock.
Yeah, right. Guard. Look, man, all the ideas for you listeners are just rolling off. You know, you just scoop them up. Feed them all day.
Delicious.
We provide for you.
If you like those psychological tormenting and like really fucking with your players, you know,
so DM
setups, gaslighting.
Yeah, basically, you know, how to gaslight your players 101. Play a Meenlock in their games. But yeah,
it's one of those
speaking
things.
of Meenlocks, yeah. So the Meenlocks who did not have layers might lack them for a variety of reasons. They may have been born alone. Their original wearing was rendered uninhabitable. I can speak English, I promise.
I mean, it worked.
Or there were simply too many in one area, and someone had to leave. You know, regardless of the reason, Meenlocks without layers of their own would craft new ones. They created tunnel networks that connected to underground caverns, spending the day plotting inside their shadowy warrens. They camouflaged the entrances to their homes and sealed them to prevent them from being found by others. A large chamber in the center of their subterranean lairs served both as a den and the torture room, where new Murlocs were created. Sorry, Meenlocks, not Murlocs. The tunnels were coated in a black moss unique to the caves that served to drown out most of the noise. Okay, I see. So they had their own kind of soundproofing.
So they're experts in soundproofing.
Yeah, by using a black moss.
This is truly sounding horrifying. Like,
you see them just like wiping it on the walls. Like,
and that's also why it's so important for DMs to play monsters in different ways and not just by their stat block.
Like, showing this intelligence would also be horrifying. You like wake
scary.
up, hide up, you're like, what the fuck? You see him just wiping this black shit on the walls.
Yeah, that's scary.
Sam, hear me out. A group of Meenlocks, they get themselves like a little psionic pylon that broadcasts through the whole town. and they start a
Whoa.
torture podcast.
they get a an artificer to make something for them. They like
Come
torture
on
them.
down, torture victim number 5. You have one chance, because it's cue the Mario chance time music, and it's like, chance time!
Amazing.
So-and-so
perfect. It writes itself.
this many amounts of torture days to
What an
so-and-so, and then you walk back into the board, and life just keeps going.
This many days without another Meenlock.
0.
They're always just resetting it.
Yeah.
And what's also really cool is apparently Meenlock were known to decorate their caverns. Like things like wood piles, dirty sleeping furs, collections of knives.
Is it Hannibal Lecter that
made
furniture out of his victims?
Yeah.
I don't like looking up serial killer stuff because I don't want to get advertisements for it, but I'm pretty sure that's the history of that guy.
Right.
Like, murdered people and made furniture out of their bodies. It was so gross.
I have to ask my wife, because like she's one of those people where it's like, oh, let me just bust out my serial killer playing cards.
Yeah, I can't. I am so far removed from serial killers because those shows are usually too graphic for me.
I feel that. So, Orion, here's something else that's pretty scary. Some Meenlocks worked under the employ of a hag in small groups, likely due to their mutual desires to destroy the beautiful and corrupt the innocent. Or rarer still, working with evil wizards or scions or the like. Otherwise, the only other creatures they associated with were aberrant monsters like the foul spawn.
Okay, so I always suspected that hags were like mafia boss types, so that works.
Yeah.
Having hags employing these
with lackeys?
Good boy. Oh, man.
That writes an encounter right there. Boom. Meenlocks with a hag
got
as
a big
boss.
bat right there. Yeah. They're bringing her
tear
like
apart a whole region.
Stuff. Like, yeah, that'd be crazy.
It absolutely
let's
writes
get into
itself.
let's get into the abilities of Meenlocks here.
Okay.
So Meenlocks detested direct combat. Right? They were kind of bitchy, preferring to pick off members of a group individually as opposed to fighting them all at once. A Meenlock assault was a slow and gradual eroding of the mind, tormenting and stalking their opponents for hours and even days. They telepathically sent feelings and images to their targets, making them paranoid and panicked, to soften them up for later. Such nightmares included whispers in the night, the feeling of being watched, images in the corner of your vision. Typically, they targeted weak, innocent, and good beings with these abilities while they were alone or sleeping. They also used these indirect tactics to deal with groups. Their very presence exuded an aura of fear that could reduce targets into sobbing messes, send them running, or simply leave them standing struck with feelings of sheer terror. Adding to the horror of the Meenlocks was their terrible hooked claws, capable of paralyzing those who were injured by them. Once paralyzed, Meenlocks kidnapped their prey and brought them back to their lairs. They could telepathically communicate with others over 100 feet, 30 meters, and could use this connection to plan and conspire. Being the incarnations of fear that they were, Meenlocks themselves were immune to feelings of fright. If Meenlocks found themselves outmatched, they teleported to any nearby area covered by darkness in order to make a hasty retreat, although this required them to leave any prize behind, victim or otherwise.
Gross.
Yeah, they're kind of pussy. Sorry, I'm sorry, but
they're hard to catch.
Bitches.
Yeah, they're bitches. They can't get you. You're too much for them. They're out of there. But
they're like a psionic infestation, like having psychic cockroaches of terror.
They're like the termites.
Gross. That's interesting, though.
Yeah, but their stats
terrorites, if you will.
You could build a whole one shot or a series around this and just call it the extermination, and then you can be exterminators, little bug exterminators.
You could even make like a queen, you know?
Yeah.
Ooh, a Meenlock queen. I like that.
Yeah. You know, have it like working with a hag or something. That could be crazy.
That would be cool.
What if the hag pretends to be the Meenlock queen, but the Meenlocks never had a queen, so they didn't know what to expect. They're like, oh well, I guess we got royalty now.
Oh,
they all got like charms into thinking she was like some queen or something.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Oh yeah, look, I like it.
Write it down. Write it
What
down.
an idea.
Write that down, Gary. Write that down.
Yeah, but getting into their they kind of look lackluster stats. They have a strength of 7, dexterity of 15, constitution of 12, intelligence of 11, wisdom of 10, and charisma for 8. So, pretty decent for a monster, at least. Or I guess
it says here they're a CR2. I think what really makes them terrifying is their tactics in numbers. Like, if you actually catch one, no big deal, but you have to catch it first.
Yeah, I do have their abilities here, and that'll be the last I have on me.
What?
So, we have their Fear Aura. Any beast or humanoid that starts its turn within 10 feet of the Meenlock must succeed on a DC 11 Wisdom saving throw or be frightened until the start of the creature's next turn. Pretty standard, you know. You have light sensitivity. While in bright light, the Meenlock has disadvantage on attack rolls, as well as wisdom perception checks that rely on sight. And here is the teleport that I mentioned. Your Shadow Teleport. As a bonus action, the Meenlock can teleport to any unoccupied space within 30 feet, provided that both the space it's teleporting from and its destination are in dim light or darkness. The destination need not be within line of sight. Yeah.
So a nighttime fight with these things would be devastating. Just for the fact they can just... They're too squirrely.
And here is their bread and butter. Telepathic Torment. Up to 4 Meenlocks can telepathically torment one incapacitated creature, filling its mind with disturbing sounds and dreadful imagery. Participating Meenlocks can't use their telepathy for any other purpose during this time, though they can move about and take actions and reactions as normal. The torment has no effect on a creature that is immune to the frightened condition. If the creature is susceptible and remains incapacitated for 1 hour, creature must make a wisdom saving throw, taking 10 3d6 psychic damage on a failed save. Half as much on a success. The save DC is 10 plus the number of Meenlock participating. The process can be repeated. A humanoid that drops to 0 hit points as a result instantly transforms into a Meenlock at full health and under the DM's control. Only a wish spell or divine intervention can restore and transform the creature to its former state. Yep.
Pretty solid.
Pretty solid, honestly, yeah. You getting just focused down by 4 of these boys? You're in trouble. These is not even doing that much damage, but like, if you let it, you're incapacitated, no one's there to help you.
Right.
Yeah, that could easily take out somebody if the party gets split, or like somebody gets kidnapped in the party in the middle of the night. Maybe
they get yoinked away. Watch. Oh man. What if they just like teleport you like into the cave and there's like 6 of them just around you?
Like ants, they just pick up this one person to just carry them away.
That's just so freaky though.
Whoop you away. Like, it's crazy.
Now, if you really wanted to have a bit of a moral dilemma and like really terrorize the players, but like kind of punch them in the heart a little bit, just Meenlock breeding ground and orphanage.
That would be so sad.
Yeah,
it would.
You said at the beginning of this episode, that you had a baby on your chest, and now you're talking about torturing children. I know everything I need to know about you.
Meenlock are not children; they're born fully adult.
It's fair.
Yeah.
So
therefore, you can torture them all you want. It's
so
fair
you're
game.
Saying that once they become a Meenlock, they're no longer a child, no matter if the person being tortured prior to them being a Meenlock is a child.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
So you're saying that in this way they are expendable and worth it. And
wait, hold on.
Yeah. Think about you. Think about this.
I mean, they're no longer human. I mean, unless you're a god, what are you gonna do? Like,
that's fair.
They would want you to,
I'll find a cure.
If I was like a zombie, I would want you to just take me out, man.
Oh my god.
Don't worry, I know just the place. We'll get like a good table setting, get some wine. I got you, man.
So we usually like to do a after talk about the monster, an IRL fight score. Do you think you could take one or more of these creatures if you had to?
Physically?
Yeah, if this existed in real
Emotionally,
life.
I'm broken. I'm gone.
Let's say you're walking down the street and one of these boys pops out, and they're like, "Hey."
I think
you could
as
take
much
it?
as I want to say that I would take it, my fight or flight would take over, and I would absolutely be running and it's gross. This is a giant bug, and Terminex won't help me. I need more.
The giant bug alone. I mean, this is only 2 feet tall, but that's big enough.
I'm sorry, if a 2-foot lobster showed up, I would also be scared, even if it was a normal looking lobster. Too much lobster. I'm not that hungry. Please leave.
And then it's gonna tell me bad things about myself. How dare you?
But if I was in a pit, let's say we're in Star Wars.
Oh yeah, you have to
and I have to fight it. I bet I can.
Yeah.
I may cry a whole lot though.
I could probably block it out. I've dealt with my own stuff for long enough.
Come on, body, you got me with trauma blocking.
You think you can knock me down worse than I can, bitch?
Exactly. Dude.
You just end up traumatizing it by having a whole fight back and forth. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm into it.
There was an episode of One Piece like that where Usopp, big pessimist, very down on himself. Enemy's got the ability like a Meenlock to just make anyone all depressed, down, self-deprecating, no faith in themselves, and he's like, "You can't make me feel any worse than I already do about myself."
Listen, definitely can. I also believe that my ideal superpower would be Mantis's power from Guardians of the Galaxy, because changing people's emotions can do so much.
Yeah, honestly.
Ooh.
Yeah, being that real powerful empath is pretty cool.
It being able to just end fights by changing the way that they feel about the fight. The end. It's just you just kind of win.
Right, yeah. There's really no situation where you lose. Something doesn't have emotions.
Even emotionless robots do. You've seen Detroit Become Human.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
That'd be ridiculous, but I think it'd be funny just to kick one of these things. See how far it would go.
Punch this little
I don't know. I think if I was faced with something like this and it's there putting all these intrusive thoughts in my head, it's now I'm just angry.
Yeah,
now
you
kicking
even matter.
something.
Now if I see you and you let me catch you, you're gonna die.
But I got that fear aura, so I might feel just running away.
I think honestly, I feel fear for me is if I'm afraid, I'm gonna want to just get rid of the problem. So
I need the raid, spring raid.
I'm afraid of it. My flight instinct is get rid of the frightening threat.
Sure, yeah.
If I can't
get the car, runs it over.
If it's obviously I'm gonna lose, I'm
instead of getting out of its way, you have to get it out of your way.
Exactly.
I'm very much the opposite. Although I'll move to the side. That's fine. If this
you think I'm
you
scared of you?
More of the street, that's cool. I am scared of you. Please.
I'm scared to keep you into your life.
Don't hurt me. Listen, I could draw a red line on the floor, and you can hang out over there, and I can hang out over here. But we have to have communication. You already know how to do that. You've been torturing me for days, right? Got it.
Right,
so
you've been in my mind for hours. You know everything. And that is the worst. They would know your deepest fears, your darkest traumas. They would get in there no matter what.
Rough. They just flood your mind with a bunch of really shitty commercials.
The worst memes you've ever seen.
Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Wacky waving.
Justin Bieber's greatest hits.
The Peaches song on repeat from Mario.
Jesus.
I heard somewhere years ago that legitimately the guards or whatever at Guantanamo Bay would use American pop songs to torture prisoners.
That's kind of funny. Not that
great.
torture is funny, but that's kind of funny.
Yeah, that specific part of it is
yes,
for the torture itself.
The rest of the process, not funny.
Yeah.
That process,
right.
funny.
Okay, but you know what's really funny is an example of this. I had some financial issues lately. My bank got like hacked into or whatever. But what's really funny is as I was talking to my bank about these wrong transactions, it was just like, did you make this Wendy's charge? I'm like, no. I'm like, really? You chose to get Wendy's while you're like,
sure, this is a Wendy's.
How dare you?
Judging.
It's so unfortunate.
Honestly, pretty rude. Wendy's has good fries.
Rude. I love Wendy's, so I don't blame them, honestly. But
yeah, I mean, if they already took like $3K, what's a meal at Wendy's?
I know, what the hell? They were like, I'm gonna go treat myself.
Oh my gosh.
Hard day's work.
Yeah,
Bro, if you listen to this podcast and I find out, bro, treasure your toes because you ain't gonna have them for that long.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna send my Meenlocks on you.
Yeah, I'm gonna send my homies know where you live now.
The headcanon of Meenlocks are toe thieves. It's there now.
Coming for your toes, man.
Amazing.
All right, moving on.
There's a place to move on to after all of that.
Perfect segue.
Boom.
So we could move into
we're coming
the news.
For your toes, just like we're coming for the next topic.
Hell yeah. Speaking of minis, like your toes. Is there anything there is?
Got him. So apparently with D&D's latest playtest, they're kind of rolling back the bardic inspiration and adding some subclass tweaks. So that's a cool, really reworking it, although it's no longer one D&D. So what do we call it now? Like the new 5e? 5.5?
Yeah, what is it now?
I don't even know.
I bet Google knows the answer.
We're just like 2 D&D.
Well, it's their 6th playtest, so they're reverting some of their rules and whatnot. It's some wild stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just blow up the article here. Yeah, I guess a lot of people didn't really care for what they were doing with the inspiration dice.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of room, inspiration to really do things with. Giving just advantage is it's helpful, but you could do so much more.
Well, apparently
sure.
So players won't be able to use inspiration dice to heal, and which apparently one of the biggest issues they had with that is in the playtests, players would start hoarding the inspiration dice so that they'd be able to heal at the right moment, rather than using it to push certain rolls over the edge to be good. So
yeah, that makes sense.
I could see that.
Everyone is going to find an optimized way to play.
Yeah,
even though it's not the funnest way, there will always be people who want to be the most optimized. And so if they create something that can be extorted, essentially, they will do it. Like paladins.
Yeah, people are always
power gamers will find a way. They always find a way.
Always want optimal builds. They want power maxing.
It's gonna happen.
So doing this is just gonna end up being restrictive, or maybe not restrictive, but
I mean,
I kind of get where they're coming from. So I think it's a good change going back.
Pausing your Skyrim and eating 40 cheese wheels in a row is fun to you, and it is. It probably will be fun to you to save all your inspiration dice, too.
Yeah.
For context. But for storytelling, definitely not the greatest of
what do you even heal? How are you even healing?
You're eating cheese wheels.
Come
on. my inspiration die is now reskinned to be cheese wheels.
I'd be like, all right, if you want to heal now suddenly and you can make it make sense thematically, sure.
Well,
I would say the same
last
thing.
week's guests, they had a subclass for Bard. There's like what was it, the College of Confections, where it was like a culinary bard.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it was really cool.
That sounds
And then
awesome.
the episode before, we had the Candy Man who had made the candy adventure.
That's cool.
Doing all that.
Yeah,
It was great.
the Candy Pathfinder setting was amazing, very Adventure Time-esque. Which, speaking of Adventure Time, there's a new D&D 5e Adventure Time thing coming out.
Woo!
So that's
Segways!
Wow, that actually worked. So, according to Dicebreaker.com, the upcoming Adventure Time RPG will be made compatible with 5e and other systems.
That's so awesome.
Since there's a whole bunch of rule conversions and supplements. So, nice. We gotta spread that around. I mean, everyone loves a little bit of Adventure Time.
Can I be
You want to know a
demon?
secret?
I would imagine.
I've never seen Adventure Time, but I know of it, and I know that it's so popular, and it gets really, really deep.
It
That's
seems
all I
like
know
such
about
your
the show.
vibe from what I've seen.
It does seem like my vibe. It's on my list, but alas, I get struck by Ted Lasso's and the bear and other things that aren't cartoon, like Demon Slayer. So much so that I get tattoos of it on my body. Like,
I feel it.
I'm busy being a weeb. Okay.
Yeah, Mom.
There's just so much good media out there, so it gets difficult,
Yeah,
It's just like,
my list is so long. It's like gaming, and like I'm primarily a game. It's like, do I spend 16 hours today playing Sims, or do I crack open that game that I purchased 2 years ago and haven't played yet? Like,
That's why you gotta
My
keep
list
that
is like
packaging
600
fresh for
long.
when you actually play it, because that
That
way
feels
resale
good.
value. Yeah.
However,
Like
I buy everything on Steam, and I'm just so broke.
There you go. Well, if it's in the library, you're never going to touch it now.
It's true.
I mean, isn't the Steam sale going off right now? Shit,
It
now's
is.
the time.
Yep, I spent a lot of money already. It's fine.
Oh yeah.
On games I'm not gonna play. But that is one
So
reason why I started streaming, is to just start like getting through my backlog of stuff, and it's been super helpful.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm looking forward to this Kickstarter with all the Adventure Time stuff.
Yeah. I need to look at it. I'm looking
Make
at
sure you
it.
post that in our chat so we can have that in the Discord if people are interested.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to post their upcoming Kickstarter, because like that'd be a lot of fun. I kind of like the grass sword, because
I'd be
that was
so
really cool
down.
on the show.
I'd be
Starter
so...
Adventure Time, the role-playing game. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or the TTRPG, I think.
Put it up right there. Yeah, but apparently Dicebreaker did like 2 separate articles on it, so you know it's popular if they're doing multiple articles.
Yeah, definitely.
But you know what's more interesting than what?
I said, Adventure Time fans, now's the time.
I know. At the heart of the
Adventure
game is
Time.
the yes and
I didn't
mechanic.
mean to cut you off. What were you saying?
Well, you know what's almost more interesting, or perhaps even more interesting than Adventure Time. Now, you know how we mentioned that Baldur's Gate 3 is coming out like next month, and there's a lot of hype for that.
Yeah.
Well, apparently they're offering a lot of things that you can do in the game, really staying true to the bard influence of D&D. A little bit of polyamory, blood sacrifice, and bear fucking.
Hell yeah.
Wait, what? Excuse me?
Yeah. When
right.
they had a early access thing with a whole group of people in the audience, a big TV, and one of the big scenes that they showed off was just like some kind of gay bear fuck scene where like the druid wild shapes into a bear, and it's just
I see.
Wow.
I'm just like, damn, really staying true to the fan base here. I never expected them to like take a step in that direction, but like, people are going to go for it. Memes
That's
are
a really
memes.
interesting conversation.
There's always going to be
about
somebody that'll be like,
druids.
check this guy out. Check this out, guys. This is crazy.
I just like I could see mentioning it, but like just showcasing that to like a whole audience.
Yeah,
like,
that's...
what?
Wow.
I don't know. It would take some balls to like throw that at a whole audience. Like, damn, I it couldn't be me.
Yeah, they knew about the furry scene. They were like, we're gonna pander to this shit.
There's like I'll link the article to you guys, but like there's a little GIF and it like shows a brief glimpse of it, and like the bear's got like that little sassy fuck face to it, a little smile and shit.
What?
So it looks like the bear is the druid in that scene.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I'm looking it up. Like I find it super interesting, and it like brings up a really interesting conversation about druids, I guess, in general, like in their sexual conquests.
Yeah, I mean that is true.
You can
I would
imagine that,
yeah.
like, what if they're a hawk and they go and fall in love with a hawk while they're flying around? Like, they probably obviously want to have sex as a hawk, because otherwise it would be bestiality.
And when they take the animal forms, they truly become the animals.
That's it's the question. It's like, are the animals? So it's like,
that may
the
be
ability to turn into a human. But there's arguments, I would say, both ways for sure. That's interesting.
I would imagine that they probably wouldn't like to do like human v animal. They probably keep it to animal.
I would say animal or human. If it goes animal human, I would have a problem personally.
Yeah, I mean,
I think a lot of people would have a problem. PETA would be on their ass.
Yeah,
and many people.
Yeah, but if it's like a person that turns into an animal, I think like there's that gray area there.
Gray area for sure. I'm so interested to hear people's debates on this. I bet if I go on to Twitter, the wasteland, I could find some angry people.
God.
It's Twitter. There's always angry people.
Exactly. That's why I bet I could go there and find the people who are talking shit.
I bet
it won't take long. Apparently, there's more to it though. They're in Baldur's Gate 3. They're going the route of was it Cyberpunk, that you can customize your character's genitals?
Oh, Jesus.
Ooh,
how does this stack with bear transformation? That's what I gotta know.
Yeah. Can I have like a dragon with like a bear? Like, gotta get creative here.
Amazing.
If you wild shape into a duck, are you Johnny Corkscrew Cock?
Johnny Duck.
I think you would be. Yeah.
There's Donald Duck in it.
Donald Duck in it. Only a t-shirt.
Jesus Christ.
Not healing Sora. Literally being useless.
Why aren't you casting healing word? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Where's my healing hands?
I'm kind of impressed that they went this route, because like it's a great way to drum up that controversy. Meanwhile, players, DMs that have had that too horny of a bard / druid at their table, it's like, oh wow, he's getting representation. Good for him.
Yeah, there you go. That guy gets to play that guy.
This is just you there. But now, every time you see someone playing this character, you're just gonna subconsciously know that they know that you know.
That we know. Yeah. We all know. Slow zoom in on your eyes.
Yeah, we know.
Nodding up and down.
All I know is Reddit is gonna be alive with all the Rule 34 there could possibly be.
I'm going to Reddit right now.
What do they need Rule 34? It's right there in the game. What more do they need?
Reddit is wild right now. Like, all of the D&D subreddit that I subscribe to, because of the recent... I guess they were like protesting or something, so now the entire thing is labeled as not safe for work, even for just mundane posts. So maybe they was all for preparation for this bear.
Perhaps. Maybe they're trying to pander extra hard to the furry community this time.
The first thing I see on Reddit is a meme about the bear fucking, and there's a comment that says gamers only want one thing, and it's disgusting. And someone commented onto that and said, unbearable. Oh, I love it.
The bear puns are here, and it fills my dad joke heart with bear.
It really does with bear. It's right, the bear
with
arms.
Bear.
Amazing.
I think they have a right to bear a whole lot more than that. Right to bear cock.
Oh please.
Listen.
Great, I'm on the record as saying that.
Yeah, you are. Ben, beat that. Put something PG there.
Insert PG joke here. Boop boop. That was so funny.
It's like a little clown.
What a family-friendly show.
Listen. You invited the wrong person if you're family friendly.
I mean, you guys should have an idea what's going on by now.
Dude, my daughter keeps trying to convince me that one of her friends from school watches our show, and I'm like, there's no way that your friend is watching my content. First off, there's a lot of problems with that.
Yeah.
Not every episode is crazy, but I mean, if anyone sees our last one when it comes out, they'll get the idea.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if your daughter's fursona ends up being a bear, we already know that the answer is true.
The day has come.
So, the day's come.
I would hope that she'd be a little bit more creative with a fursona if it goes that way.
If it goes that way, for sure.
Yeah.
If they come out as a furry.
Yeah, it's like, if you come out as a furry, better be something other than a goddamn wolf. Like, every furry's a fucking wolf.
Okay, but it starts with Sonic. Keep your kids off Sonic.
Sonic.
What's your Sonic Sona?
Oh my god.
I think I've already lost. She saw Space Jam once.
Oh,
it's all over after that.
Too late.
Once you see Lola Bunny, you're out. You're gone. You're ready. You need her.
They got me.
They asked me why.
All you gotta do is like
hands to Lola Bunny and back.
As soon as you turn like 8 or 9 years old, those wires are being fixed up in your brain. You watch Space Jam for the first time. Wires crossed. Done.
Easy.
Space Jam will do it.
Love Space Jam.
It could be worse. I mean, like, there's people that end up getting those wires crossed watching Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and they're like, hey, that chick that turned into a blueberry, my new fetish is making women fat.
Oh, no.
Or just inflation, which is an absolute kink. And I don't get it,
the economy is ripe for that kink.
Fun fact, when I was a kid, apparently my parents said that I watched Space Jam every day for like a year. I don't know why. Why am I like this?
You know what? What you're into is what you're into, and I am not judging. This is a kink positive.
I mean, kids will watch the same thing over and over.
Yeah, I was so into Space Jam, man.
So was I. Shit. Like, we had it on a VHS tape, and it was just a recording on like TNT or something. And like drilled into my head was this one Looney Tunes commercial where they're like, "Oh yeah, this phone plan, just 5 cents a minute, every minute." And I'm just like, and that was in the '90s. I'm like, holy shit, like that's an expensive phone plan.
Yeah, it is.
Every minute, Jesus.
Dude, I wouldn't pay for a plan like that. That's too much.
Yeah, that'd be expensive to like
$3 for an hour-long phone call.
Oh man, really think
too much. But Sam, moving on to the next thing, we have our homebrew.
Ooh.
Oh, you guys.
Generic round, lots of fun, excellent.
So this week I present to you the Stones of Translation.
Oh shit!
Okay.
These sound pretty cool.
Well, they are, and they're from Adavansarmory. Little something recommended to us from last week's guest. 5 GMs in a trench coat.
True.
I was looking through some of their stuff, and I knew I had recognized some of it because just fantastic art, really liking it. So the Stone's a translation, very simple in what they do, but versatile, which a lot of DMs struggle because, oh no, none of my players know the languages I need them to know for the campaign.
Sure.
What will I do? Stone of Translation. So each one has, each stone has a different color. Like you got rust, silver, olive, electric blue, swamp green, dandelion yellow, gray, and gold. I could imagine you could probably throw in a few more for good measure. Just kind of homebrew it up. But each color corresponds with a language. Dwarvish is rust-colored. Elvish, silver. Giant, olive-colored. Gnomish, electric blue. Swamp green for goblin. Dandelion yellow for halfling. Gray for orc. And gold for draconic.
Interesting. Okay, I like it.
Yeah, very
I
simple.
can imagine you could have red for infernal, black for abyssal.
Yeah.
It
All
writes
kinds.
itself, really.
White for like celestial, and all kinds of different things. Really, whatever you needed.
I mean, it's not the route that I would go, because when I do my games, I like to have language-to-language dictionaries that the players can just buy at bookstores.
Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah, I mean, if they asked, I don't see why not.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. And sign
Like, is there like a
language.
library in
People don't
town?
use
Sure.
sign language enough.
Oh man,
That's true.
I couldn't imagine using sign language in a game. But...
I have done that before.
Have
actually.
you really? How'd that work?
So it started on a side quest that I was making up on the fly, and then it just went too long and ended up being the whole game. But the group got ambushed by some bandits, and then I was like, oh, you recognize the bandits' logos on their jackets, and they were like, do I know where their camp is? And I was like, roll a history check, and they were like, oh yeah, nat 20, of course. And I was like, oh, you know exactly where it is. So they decide that they're gonna go kill off the rest of the bandits, and I was like, shoot, all right, mini little 3-room dungeon coming out of my brain right now, and this is good. And then they get to this room where there's like basically an animal pen, and there's someone behind like a one-way glass, and they're like determined to get into the room with the person who's like unleashing all these cages, these animals onto them. And so I'm like, well, the door is small, and they get their smallest person to go in there, and I'm like, oh, it's a goblin, and his tongue is ripped out, and then they were like, I'm determined to talk to this person, so I made the character speak a variation of ASL, because I know ASL, but I just kind of did like an ASL offshoot.
It's really awesome.
I thought it was fun. They had him for most of the campaign until he unfortunately died.
Goblin boy.
Poor little goblin boy. And they named him Chopin, which is a deaf artist.
Nice.
So it worked out.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was a fun little unique thing that we just came out of the blue and allowed me to use some ASL at the table, which was very fun because none of them knew it. So they were like signing in the ways that you would to try to pantomime things and basically playing charades.
Ryan,
it was a fun little thing at the table.
Oh yeah, definitely. Ryan, what's the rarity of this item? Did you say?
You're muted, I think.
Yeah, I think you're muted, man.
It's uncommon, so it's pretty easy for people to get their hands on.
Makes sense, and I can even imagine, obviously like primordial, celestial could be like rare. You could even get to like the very rare with like primordial. Did I say that already? Like abyssal or something, It could really be like really versatile, like you said. I like it a lot. I give it like a 9/10.
Yeah, I really like it. It's simple. It has its place.
For sure.
And yeah, it can just work.
Is it kind of like a save, or it just works? Like you just know the language?
It just works.
Cool. Nice. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So in this time, I bring to you the Way of the Mantis, monastic tradition.
Okay, so Mantis style kung fu.
Yeah, I was putting in my homebrew stuff into the Discord, and I was fixing up my mantid character that I'd made a year or so ago. I thought, this seemed kind of cool. So the monastic tradition, Way of the Mantis. The Way of the Mantis is a path not many monks choose to tread. To master this tradition, one has to master absolute patience first. Only monks that achieve absolute serenity within themselves can focus their strikes precisely enough to disable the flow of ki inside living creatures. Monks of the Way of the Mantis stay in perfect stillness and not moving a single muscle, waiting for the right time to strike. Alright, so you get Mantis Strike when you choose this tradition at level 3. You can use your bonus action and spend 1 ki point to enter a defensive stance. You can end this stance by using a bonus action and otherwise takes 1 minute. You can't move while you are in this stance. You can use your patient defense feature without spending ki points. Furthermore, when a creature misses you with a melee weapon attack, you can use your reaction to make an unarmed attack against it. So, free counter hit.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Nice.
You get Pressure Strike at level 6. You learn how to debilitate your foes by cutting off their flow of ki. Whenever you hit a creature with one of the attacks granted by your Flurry of Blows feature, you can choose which body part you want to target. The creature must succeed on a Constitution saving throw, or suffer the effects detailed in the table below. The creature can't suffer the effects of a body part if it doesn't possess it. So there is the arm. The creature has disadvantage on attack rolls until the end of its next turn. Eyes, the creature is blinded until its next turn. Legs, the creature is restrained. Throat, the creature is silenced. You could throat punch them. I love it.
I like the idea of just kicking someone in the knee and running. So, if you kick them in the knee, boom, restrained, done.
Yeah. That'd be really good for kiting, kind of force the enemy to let your, party get that space.
Yeah. Can you eat your husband after you mate?
Oh, absolutely. That's actually the next ability here.
Perfect. Those are both really unique. I like those a lot.
At level 11, you get something called Reach Encounter. While in the Mantis stance, the reach of your unarmed strikes increases by 5 feet.
Oh.
That's pretty nice.
That's really cool.
And last but not least, at level 17, you get Perfect Stillness. While you were in the Mantis stance, you regain 2 ki points at the start of each turn. Additionally, while in this stance, you spend 2 ki points to make an additional reaction. Ooh,
an additional reaction? That's pretty interesting.
Bro, you're gonna be popping off hits like crazy.
Yeah. Fuck it. That's crazy.
Man. I like it.
One of the biggest complaints I hear from people about the monk is that it's underpowered or it just doesn't feel interesting enough to them. So any subclass that kind of offers just a little bit more power, with something like that, the power gamers would be all in, maximizing every little thing. But I like the Mantis flavor, because what bam,
For you Neji fanboys out there, hit some chakra points,
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
When I was in high school, I was in a martial arts club, and it's just we'd talk about all these various kung fu styles, and it's nice to see something more kung fu influence as a subclass for the monk,
I agree. This comes from user Grimley533 on Reddit, and while I was looking, at this picture, I found out that this user created the Player's Guide to Insectopia. It's a guide featuring 26 unique insectoid races, racial feats, and 13 subclasses to choose from. The entire PDF is available for free on r/Insectopia. Definitely go give this guy some love. It looked really cool when I looked.
Free shit?
Free shit,
We love free shit.
I gave it a quick look, and it looks really cool. There's all kinds of things. You got mantis, ants, beetles, bugs. Beetles and bugs. For the
low price of free, you can have a Bug's Life campaign.
You really could, honestly.
Oh my god. I want to be Dot.
Hell yeah.
I never knew I needed to be a ladybug so much. Every chance I get.
said no soul.
You think just because I'm a ladybug, I'm a lady?
I want to be the Hercules beetle.
Amazing.
Let's
I want to be
Hercules
the bubble
beetles are badass.
Oh yeah.
So fucking cool.
Thank you. So that guy, it seems really cool. You guys are doing great work. It looks like they posted it about a year ago. So I hope things are going well for you guys.
You know what?
Thank you for fueling our fire of homebrew.
Yeah, thank you for making great stuff.
Sam.
Yes.
I usually get the guests for the show. You got to contact this person.
I gotta find him. All right, I'll track this guy down.
Yeah. Track him down. Leave no bug unturned.
Yeah. We talk
Around
about
the leaf.
monster. We could have a whole like bug episode. You know, it could feel kind of hard.
Yeah.
You know, listeners out there, contact this guy. Let him know we're looking for him.
Hell yeah.
Don't blow him up though, please.
Or do?
We're due.
A
Unless.
Oh no, the bug zapper got him.
I can't help it. It's so beautiful. Yep. Memories.
I love the sheer scale of the entire thing. And then there's that other movie, Ants.
Yeah.
They came out around the same time, and it was unfortunately not as good. Well, as popular. It was still good.
Yeah, I definitely.
Yeah, I liked both of them. And then like
I thought it was really
I love
cool
the whole.
how it was like,
Yeah.
oh man, this Mantis like fighting style. What? He has a whole book that he made? How cool!
Yeah.
He made a whole book.
You're like, I did my homework, but also...
It sounds like he's like a D&D nerd in college. He had a biology class and then got bitten by the inspiration bug.
Maybe like wants to be like an entomologist or something.
Yeah.
It'd be brilliant. Maybe he's got a subclass for like digesting things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gross.
That finishes all the stuff I have today.
Diet of bugs. Like, as long as you sing Hakuna Matata every day, and you have a wonderful diet of bugs, you will be king of the jungle.
What a wonderful phrase!
Means no worries. Yes.
For the rest of your days.
It's a problem free. Probably can't sing more of that song for
Oh
copyright.
yeah, you're right. Oh jeez.
Disney will come after you.
Sorry, Disney. We just enjoy your movie. Jeez.
Listen, this is not a Disney fan show.
Quick,
When it
transition
comes
to the
Disney. No
description.
content creator is too small to sue.
It's so sad. It's true.
Let's quickly transition to the next segment of your.
Get to the next segment before Disney gets to us.
It's fine. Saying their song for 30 seconds too long.
Stranger danger.
No, Disney, please. Not like this.
Honestly. At any rate, what's the biggest piece of advice that you would give people on your show when it comes to DMing?
Oh God.
You know.
Yeah, it's your turn. Answer the question.
Yeah, to answer the question that I ask people, let's see. I would say, let it go. More Disney. Like my podcast is called The Overprepared DM for a reason. It's because I used to write out like 20 to 30 pages of stuff before every single game, and I would use maybe 3 to 4, and I was overworking myself. I was like making maps and things, but like I started having more fun when the hype of making all the stuff died down and it started feeling like work. I started having more fun just letting it go. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be Matt Mercer. You don't need to be Brendan Lee Mulligan. You don't need to be any of those fancy people. You just need to be you, and you just need to DM in the style that you think is fun and let go, because you're not writing a book that the players are following. You're writing a story for you guys to tell together, and just let it be the way that it is, and a fun story will happen along the way. Whether all the hills and valleys and things that you cross, and the totally off-topic random weddings that your party decides to do, or the murder hoboing they decide to do, whatever it is. Just go along for the ride, because they are going along for the ride with you too.
I always tell people, your players write the story just as much as you do.
Absolutely,
I agree.
I had players that come to me and they'll straight start conspiring scenes. They're like, I got an idea. I want to make this thing happen. So would it be possible? They're like, okay, sure. I'll conspire with you to make scenes happen in upcoming sessions. Sure.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you want a big grand reveal for this part of your backstory? Sure, I'll work that in. Just hold on.
See, I do that as long as they're more willing to let go as well. Like, I don't want to be reading their script they give me. Like, I want it to be something that feels natural and flowy, and they also have fun with it, even if it's not perfect, because no one's perfect.
Yeah. Like that reminds me, we had a scene where one of our players wanted to kind of begin a fiend transformation. So I was like, all right, so what do you want to be the pivotal moment, to embrace this kind of, effect? He was like, oh, well, what if I just behead the creature, and its blood splashes on me or something.
Oh, damn.
I was like, sure, I can run with that. I got an idea. So during the fight, and you remember our Omen, he runs up, he kills it creature, he shoots it in the face and sees the orb inside, pulls it out, cracks it, and there's black smoke just coats him.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That sounds
he starts having a seizure.
His body. It turned into a full you're getting possessed situation.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It was a very fun scene. And it kind of reminds me of this one game that I ran where at the very beginning the player's like, I'm going to play a changeling that thinks that she's an elf. And okay, cool. Yeah, she was raised as a elf, and I kind of worked with the backstory for her a little bit more. It's like, okay, well, your uncle, adoptive uncle was taking care of you, and your adoptive father here had a daughter, and she died, the uncle died, and since you would play together so much as kids, well, you kind of adopted her form, not knowing any better. So he stuck raising what's effectively the representation of his daughter that died the entire time. So when I hit that grand reveal with the players, I got a couple of them crying from that, because big reveal, oh no, the sad backstory. So I got at least two of them crying, and I was kind of proud of that.
Awesome.
That's really cool.
What led to all of that for the grand reveal was them being coincidentally in the right town at the time. And yes, Gary.
Gary, get back here and love me.
Gary, you're behind my monitor. You can't do this to me.
That's awesome.
I love Gary.
There.
Cat.
Anyway, what segued into the whole thing was my the druid of the party, the resident stoner, offering her father a joint in a shop. They didn't know that he was there. He's just a patron. It's like, hey man, try some Granddaddy Perp.
Amazing.
Is this the same campaign where they try to do the weed empire?
Yes. The stoner druid trying to create his weed empire.
Jesus Christ.
The same campaign fun. Where all satyrs talk like Snoop Dogg.
Naturally.
It sounds about right. This is about what I would expect.
Well, I had a little bit of fun with that, obviously, because who doesn't want Snoop Dogg satyrs running around sleeping with the widows of the town?
That's valid. I would enjoy it if Snoop Dogg was really there.
D&D with Snoop Dogg would be the best.
Oh man, new goal.
Get Snoop Dogg to play in one of my games.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg, you somehow hear this, man. Welcome to the Nerd Dog.
Forget Matt Mercer. We got to get Snoop.
Amazing.
Damn, that would be a game.
Snoop Dogg and Matt Mercer. Jesus. Imagine.
Too much potential in one place.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Is there anything that you'd want to plug? Your podcast or anything?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
Our wonderful guest here. Go ahead and talk about yourself.
I suppose so.
Tell us about your socials and where the lovely listeners could find you if they wanted.
Sure. Hi, I'm Jen, or Jenisonline on all the socials. Thank you for having me. This was a blast. You can find me, as I said, Jenisonline, all the socials. I stream on Twitch Sundays and Wednesdays. I'm a variety gamer, but for the most part, I am a professional voice actor, game creator, TTRPG producer and writer, and a podcast host on the Overprepared DM with the lovely person you probably already heard, Nick. He's great, and I enjoy running our podcast with him. So thank you guys so much for having me. This was cool, and I liked the structure.
Did I also had a Gen Con or something?
So yes, this year a lot of the people that I have met online over the past 3 years of content creating have they all bought tickets to come out here to Denver, Colorado, and we got an Airbnb and we had our own little Gen Con.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was super fun. We did a bunch of touristy stuff in Denver together, and it was like an approved basis only of people coming, of course. But it was super, because I don't want to sleep in an Airbnb with strangers, even though they all technically were. But I've talked to them every day for 3 years. It doesn't feel like a stranger. Online friends are real friends. Hashtag. But yeah, so it was super fun.
It's awesome. It looked really fun from what I saw, and it was kind of interesting to be like, oh man, I didn't know that people could just have like their own little things.
Yeah, you just
my cat's just jumbling the camera right back there. Damn it, Gary!
We were just a party of 10 to 11 people, like at all times, everywhere we went. So it was super fun. I enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It was great having you. Hope you had a good time.
Well, thanks. Hope I didn't divert the conversation too much. You have to cut.
It was pretty on brand.
Literally what our show is.
Nonsense.
Well, hell yeah. I appreciate it.
All right. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you had a good 4th of July. As always, you can check us out on Twitter under the Nerd Militia. We are on Discord, socials, Facebook, YouTube. You know where to find us by now.
Get on in there. You know you want to.
Absolutely.
Or else we're going to sick the Meenlocks on you.
Yeah. You don't go follow us. Meenlocks. We're the new wizard.
Get that Meenlock queen in there.
All right. Podcast out.
Thanks for listening to Dungeons and Talkshows, brought to you by the Nerd Militia. Check us out on Patreon or Discord if you want to support us. And if you want to get more Nerd Militia content, you can follow us on Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, and YouTube. Or really any of the usual podcasting platforms. But as always, we're nerds, so what do we know?